Oh, what is up? Welcome to Bring in the Backups. I'm your host, Erick Hellwig. On the show today, Lucas Zachary Hazlett is my guest. You can follow him at Lucas Zachary Hazlett on Instagram. We're also talking about backup quarterback Frank Reich. You know what he did with the Bills. We'll go through his career a little bit. It's a fun interview. I want to give you guys a couple tour dates I have coming up here. You can see me on January 19th at the Comedy Chateau, on January 22nd in Idaho at the Holiday Inn. I'm at some hotel there. I don't know. It's all on my website. And then you'll see me in the Tower City Comedy Festival if you live around Paris, Texas, starting on January 27th, 28th, and 29th. I have various shows in there, possibly adding a couple club dates as well. So keep tuned on erickhellwig.com for any info with the touring. You can also support my show here. What's the best way to do that? I don't know. You can follow us on Instagram or Twitter. Those handles will always be in the show notes here. You can leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/erickhellwig. Or just call into the show. 323-716-6072 for the Bring in the Backups hotline. One more time, that's 323-716-6072. Thank you to everybody that called in last week. It was great to take your calls on this show. You'll hear me do it with Lucas in a bit here. That's all for me for now. Enjoy the show.
Grab your gear and lace it up. Helmets on and cup your nuts. It's that time, you know what's up. Here we go, bring in the backup. Twice, bring in the backups.
Oh, it's Bring in the Backups, and I'm recording this at 11 p.m. on Monday, January 17th. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody. If my voice sounds a little weird, it's because I'm trying to not be too loud because my wife is sleeping a room away, and if she comes in here and looks at me, it's not going to be good. So I'm going to do this front part of the podcast really quick, probably like 3 or 4 minutes, and I want to get right into my interview with my friend Lucas Hazlett. Very funny actor, writer, comedian. You've seen him in I don't know. He's been in a ton of shit. I don't care. You just Google him, you assholes. He's in the business. Anyway, so Lucas is here. I did no prep for this, but I want to give you a little bit on Frank Reich and why we chose to do him on this episode. I say we, of course. I mean, me. I chose Frank Reich because he's the architect of the greatest comeback in NFL postseason history. And that was on Wild Card Weekend. So I thought, hey, we just finished up Wild Card Weekend. When I interviewed Lucas, the Rams-Cardinals games had not happened. We made a prediction for the Rams-Cardinals. It didn't come out good for me. But congratulations to the Rams moving on. That's the last game. Now we're going to be into the divisional. Excited about that. We talk a lot of football on this podcast and a lot of other stuff too. Lucas has been a friend of mine for a while, so you guys definitely hang on for that. But Frank Reich, let's do this dude. Let's do this dude some justice. Okay, first thing, I think the best thing he's done in his career, we can all agree, is not committing to Carson Wentz for a second season. Way to go, Frank. I wish the Eagles had the same foresight you had, my friend. Jeez. What a surprise that didn't work out. Oh, what? Carson choked against the Jags? No. You're kidding. Hey, worked out great for Eagles fans, huh? And all of us that were saying all along, this Carson thing's not going to work. Vindicated. I could sing the Dashboard song. Vindicated. I am selfish. I am wrong. I am right. Highlight on the I am right part. You can all go back and review. How many episodes of the show are there now? Like 30? Something like that. I think I devote about 20 minutes every episode to Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. This episode's no different. Frank Reich, way to go, buddy. – Obviously, Reich, back up to Jim Kelly. 19 years ago, Jim Kelly was the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. He 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 was the quarterba You know, great quarterback. You know, I think anybody listening to this podcast knows what he did against the Oilers. We'll get into that a little bit in the interview with Lucas, but that comeback was sick, obviously. You know, they're down, what was it, 38-3, come all the way back, win in overtime. Warren Moon, I mean, that was a good Oilers team. It really was a good Oilers team. But Frank, let's see. When he's born in Freeport, New York. He went to high school in Pennsylvania, college at Maryland. Go Terps. Drafted by the Bills. He's there for 10 years. We know what he does there. I mean, you look at his NFL career statistics. 40 touchdowns, 36 picks. Passer rating of 72.9. As a head coach, he's doing all right, though. He's 37-28 as a head coach. That's not too bad. But, yeah, I guess I kind of thought he played more than that. I mean, geez, he was in the league from 85 until 98. So what is that, 14 seasons? That's one hell of a career. He gets credit for that. Starts out with the Bills. He's there for a while. Then he does the one season with the Panthers. And I want to say that Panthers season, kind of want to look that up a little bit because I think what happened was, yeah, that was the expansion year for the Panthers. And yes, he threw the first touchdown pass in franchise history for Carolina to former Bills player Pete Mezzaliers at Memorial Stadium in Clemson. I don't even remember that. Yeah, Bank of America Stadium was still under construction, so they played at Clemson their first season. Wow, that would be a cool video to find. I got to look for that. Panthers had drafted Kerry Collins, but Reich was the starter for the first 3 games until Collins was deemed ready to take the starting job. He also shares a record. So he threw the first touchdown pass. He was also sacked 9 times in a game at Atlanta. Man, with those expansion teams, I mean, let him start the whole season. I mean, why even put your franchise, like, that's like the David Carr thing, right? Remember him with the Texans? He got sacked like 60 times one season. It was some crazy number he set the record for. But you're just like getting pounded. I mean, the expansion teams are always so bad. They got to do something to make that a little more fair. I don't know what it is. You know, I think you got to like, maybe you just do like a random lottery, and whoever loses has to give the expansion team their best player. You know, that seems fair. You got a 1 in 32 chance, and then if it's you know, sorry, Packers, but Aaron Rodgers, he's going to Oklahoma City or whatever the next. I wonder, what do you think the next team is going to be? If the NFL is going to expand, where would they go? Like London? I don't think London, but like the Jags will move. So I don't know if there's going to be, I mean, eventually there'll be an expansion team, but I mean, what city? I don't know. What big city doesn't have a football team now that could? Maybe a Canadian team like Toronto. Toronto was trying to get the Bills. Remember John Bon Jovi? Fucking Benedict Arnold over there. Tried to fuck the Bills out of their... Bills fans must not sing Living on a Prayer when they're when they're drunk. How could Bon Jovi do that to you guys? All right, so anyway. Reich was then signed by the New York Jets. This is after the Panthers. Oh, he started 7 games for the Jets. He actually played a lot. It sounds like he played more for the Jets than any other team. Is that true? Yeah, he really did play a lot at the end. That's great. In 97, Frank signed with the Detroit Lions, reuniting him with his Maryland coach, Bobby Ross. Reich appeared in 6 games, all in 97, all in relief, and 6 games in 98, including 2 starts, and then he retired. Yep, and Bill Polian said that Reich was the greatest backup quarterback in NFL history. Well, not according to the numbers, Bill Polian. I think he just liked the guy. Then he's a coach, so whatever. The Colts for something, Cardinals for something, Chargers for something. Back when they were in San Diego, he was on Whisenhunt's staff. Then he's on the Eagles. We know what he did for those guys. huh? Super Bowl, baby. Redid the offense for Foles. Don't ask me why they didn't just keep it in place. That was a mistake, but not his fault. Anyway, he's out of there after the Super Bowl, goes to Indy. He's the head coach. Even though they'd fired him as the wide receivers coach 7 years before. That's kind of interesting. To get fired by a team and then hired as a head coach 7 years later. That's like the norm thing when you come back to SNL. I guess the show sucks. I'm not funnier. The show has gotten really bad. It had gotten bad. Anyway, good for him. He's had some success with the Colts, and he'll have more once he gets a real quarterback. That's what I'll say. Head coaching record, yeah, look at this. 10-6 his first season, 7-9. Nope. Then 8-5. Heading the right way. Phillip Rivers doesn't come back. Phillip Rivers needed to take care of his 38 kids. Yes, Phillip Rivers has 4 kids every year with the same woman. I don't know how it happens. She's like the architect of 3-month pregnancies. Personal life. What do we got here from our boy Frank? He's just a religious dude. He's a motivational speaker. His favorite song is In Christ Alone. He's part of what is this? Charlotte campus of Reformed Theological Seminary in Charlotte, where he earned a Master of Divinity degree. All right. And he has 3 kids. Well, look good for Frank. You know, you whatever you need to close your eyes and lay your head on your pillow at night and feel like something, it's all got to mean something. You know, if that's what you need, that's what you need. More power to you. Yeah, who am I to judge? How many of you guys are devoutly religious? Call into the show. Let me know. The number here, 323-716-6072. The drop during the interview for the rest of the podcast today is going to be a great one. You know it. I know it.
Playoffs?
Oh, how do you not love that, huh?
Playoffs?
Jim Mora sticking with us, even in death. Is he dead? Hang on. Let's do a little checking on this. No, not the son. Give me the old one. Okay, well, click on the son's Wikipedia. It should be like his father. Oh my God. Family. Early years. This is crazy. Why isn't it showing me? Okay, Jim E. Moore. Here we go. Now I found him. Jim Moore, still alive and lives in Glendale, California. Maybe I should try to get Jim Moore on the podcast. I'll reach out to the Jim Moore Jr. I'm sure, I don't know if Jim Moore Sr. is spending a lot of time on social media. But that would be nice to get Jim Moore on. How old is he? He's 86. I don't think I'm going to get Jim Moore. and he's probably so sick of having to answer for
Playoffs?
There's no way he's happy about that. There's no way. Anyway, I don't know what else to say, guys. I mean, like I said, I'm going to keep this part pretty quick because, it's late at night, and any second now my wife is going to wake up, and I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm almost done. But thanks for everybody who has been listening to the podcast so far. You know, as always, you guys know I appreciate it. And, thanks for that. I don't have anything to offer you other than my soul on these things. You know, this is just who I am. Feeling, coming out of it, you guys know, over the break, I think I had a little bit of, a little bit of a lull, we'll say, emotionally. There was like the death of my grandfather, just stuff going on where I'm like, just getting down about my career, stuff like that, just normal stuff that happens, especially when you're doing, trying to do what I do, which is like, I've got like a job to support myself and then the job where I'm starting to make money with comedy, but it's like, it's still working it, still trying to get where I need to go. And I got to monetize this podcast too. I mean, I've had like 2 paying ads kind of, but like I need to get ads. I need to get Patreon page. All that stuff I've been saying I'm going to do forever. So I think this is in the next couple months, I'm really going to try to get this stuff rolling and kind of kick myself up into high gear here and get rolling for the new year. I'm taking a lot of walks lately, in the rain. No, I'm just walking around my neighborhood, just like getting exercise. And like, you get like a rush when you go walking. When you walk past a tree, there's like science that says it makes you feel better, So I'm just trying to like enjoy myself a little bit more, if that makes sense. Take some time for me. Even in my busy schedule, it's worth it. Go on a walk, go to the gym, go swimming, do things that, play basketball on the weekends. So I'm picking up with that stuff. I probably sound depressed right now, but I'm actually not. I'm just like I said, I'm whispering for the sake of my wife. She deserves her sleep. So, with that, I'm gonna wrap up my part. I've done my due diligence on Frank Reich, and then in the interview, I do some fun stuff with Lucas where we do like a little trivia on Frank Reich's life. We talk just more about backup quarterbacks and mainly just honestly review. We talk about a whole 2 days of watching football because that's what we were doing, just watching all the games, and they were all awesome, even the blowouts, even my own Eagles losing. Because it's like, all right, yes, it'd be great if we won. So what? So then Aaron Rodgers could kick the shit out of us next week. Like this was not the year. We weren't that good. I'll say this. The 7 seeds did not make they didn't make a great case that there should be 7 seeds. All right. I know it makes the owners more money, but Eagles didn't look like they belonged and the Steelers didn't look like they belonged. So better luck in 2023 proving that's not complete horse shit. But with that, Lucas Zachary Hazlett is a friend of the show. I highly recommend, if you haven't done it before, going back to the first season and listening to my first interview with him because we had a great time. And he's also appeared on the show in bits and stuff like that. He's just, like I said, a great friend. If you do want to actually check out his work, you can do that. You've seen him in the show Wrecked. You've seen him in American Princess. And he's also been in some pretty cool shit like Two Broke Girls, Life in Pieces. These are shows that this is middle America stuff. None of us liberal douchebags in Hollywood actually watch shows like that, but other people do. So he's recognizably on TV, has created some really cool stuff throughout the years. So he's a great person to follow and support. I think he asked for you to follow him on Instagram, so I'll make sure that that's linked to in all the like I said, all the show notes and stuff like that. But without further ado, enjoy the interview with Lucas. And we'll see you on the other side.
Here we go, at the top of the class.
Hang on. When I said we'll see you on the other side, that was bad. Because that makes it sound like I'm going to kill myself. I'm not. I promise I'm not depressed. I'm just talking low because I don't want to wake up my wife. But I won't say we'll see you on the other side. I'll say enjoy the interview. So is that better? Okay, great. Enjoy the interview.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide, never see me coming, I'm a landmine, yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, yeah, you about to see me on demand, on demand, if you ain't know, you about to understand, yeah.
So a few days ago, NFL Network was showing the 1981 NFC Championship game, known for the catch. And what I noticed when I was watching it, I love watching old games, both football, basketball, rarely baseball, but football and basketball, I love watching old games. And I've noticed something. Every other play in the NFC Championship game of 1981, someone was getting hit so hard, and I was just like, "Ooh, what? Ew! Oh my god!" Helmet to helmet, and people were flipping over one another, and they were just grabbing and pushing, and the blocks were vicious. And I was like, "This." I don't know how many people in today's football, even though they're the technology has grown and the training has been specialized. I don't know how many of these dudes could have survived back then. Whereas it's a complete opposite for basketball. You watch some of these 80s games, like even the Lakers and the Celtics in the 80s, you're like, this is so boring. And what is your shooting form? You look like an idiot. So
I feel like granny style free throws could have happened in the 50s and people wouldn't have batted an eye. It's like, but I mean, I don't know. Do you ever watch like old Pistons games, like from like those
the
dominant
80s Pistons? Yeah, of course.
I mean, that was a pretty rough.
It's brutal,
team.
but I guess what I mean then is in terms of the physicality, yes, that was much more physical. But you also had guys that couldn't shoot the basketball like what we would just go, oh, that's how you shoot a basketball.
Yeah.
Whereas today, like there are bench warmers who would get in, who could just eat the Pistons up. Now, granted, an elbow from Lambeer ends that real quick.
Yeah.
But before you get the elbow, you're just like, I don't think Steph Curry could have handled the physicality back then, but he could outshoot any of them around dribbled Isaiah Thomas.
Look, anybody like I remember, this is an oversimplified way of saying it, but like people were like, Lamar Odom is Larry Bird. Like what Lamar Odom can do if you are a big guy who could shoot, you would have dominated the NBA 30 years ago. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, there's guys in the NBA now who can't shoot, like Ben Simmons. And he's found a little...
Ben Simmons in 1981 would be one of the greatest basketball players
people
of all
would
time.
they never would have mentioned that he can't shoot.
Nope, not at
it
all.
wouldn't have been important.
Yeah.
Although I did watch, like, a little thing on Larry Bird. And people were like... Nobody understands because, like, how many of us really watch Larry Bird highlights, clips, whatever? Nobody understands what a trash-talking piece of shit Larry Bird was. I mean, he was, like, the ultimate, like, in-your-head. I almost compare him to, like, what Shannon Sharp was as a tight end. Like, people were like, the dude would not shut the fuck up.
Is that true? Of Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp
he won't shut the fuck up now.
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
No, he's Larry Bird is maybe one of the greatest trash talkers to ever live.
That's fair.
And that's a huge part of why he was so good, is he was just in people's...
Not only that, but he... Like, I mean, this is like now we're 4 people removed. So someone told a story who told a story who told a story, and then I watched it being told on TV. So now I'm going to tell it here. But I mean, the fact that there's a funny story that was told about him where he literally got angry and said, I can't believe you guys are putting your white guy on me.
That's so disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful.
And he scored like 40. Yeah.
Like that's the level of... I think that we look at Larry Bird wrongly today. I think we need to go back and reevaluate that dude was a fucking hooper. Like he would have, he'd be dominant today. Like he's amazing. The boy could shoot. I mean,
it's also like I feel like what you were saying before, like people are just softer. We're softer people. Like you take any of that like 80s, like, or even early Jordan, like mentality and put it in a player now, like everybody on the team, their own team would probably hate them.
Yes.
Like it's not, I don't know, man. Like I know we're supposed to care a lot about everybody's mental health in sports. And we're supposed to think about it all the time. And if you're shitting on a player, you go, I don't really want him to kill himself or anything, but it's like, can we just fucking have fun? Like sometimes, isn't it just okay?
When you say have fun, what do you mean?
What I mean is like there's a guy on the Eagles.
I just want to, for the record, for anyone listening who can't see, Erick is so, I'm telling you, he's so destined to be the next Rush Limbaugh. The way he is holding this microphone, he's so ready. I'm telling the world, he's God. Ready. I love it.
Keep blackballing me, liberal Hollywood. You'll see what you get.
Dude, you're only 1 or 2 jobs that don't go your way from becoming Adam Carolla.
I love Adam Carolla. Look at that. I love Adam Carolla. I continue to love Adam Carolla.
This is how
truth teller, baby.
The reality of Hollywood is this. It goes back all the way from the 10s to the 20s and the 30s, all the way to today. There are always pairs. It's always, Elaine Nichols and May, right?
Sure.
So it was always Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel were this like the inseparable comedic pair. They were the ones. Hollywood has to choose one. They don't take both. They choose one.
Yes.
And the other person either conforms and adapts, or they start going on Fox News and they're the funniest. Fox News, Fox 5, whatever that show is.
He's great on there.
He's found a niche.
Yeah.
A niche. He's found a little niche for himself there, but it's like, that's what happens. And yeah.
They've stayed friends, which is...
Have they?
Yes.
How is that possible?
Because some people can stay friends and disagree on most things.
I can't do that.
Well, you're friends with me. We disagree on a lot of shit.
But the things we disagree on are meaningless.
I'm sure we disagree
We
on...
don't disagree on... We can find out now.
Yeah. You want to go?
Let's go down the list. The things we disagree about are like sports and movies and music and comedy and all that stuff, which is like, okay, we don't disagree on like fundamental rights.
Do you think Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel really disagree on fundamental rights?
Honestly,
or is he just like...
Honestly, I don't.
I don't either. I think he's... Well, let's hear it.
Well, that's what I'm alluding to.
Oh,
I think
no.
that between...
Oh, no.
Look, it's MLK Day, so I get to say a little bit of white and black shit. I think that ultimately two white guys who disagree on politics go, well, this really doesn't affect either of us on this level.
I think that Kimmel's in a place now where like he is so tapped into like... I mean, he hosts everything. It's like nothing he says is his thought anymore.
It can't be.
It can't be.
He's a business all onto his own. He's on an enterprise.
And I think anybody that's not that, if you're talking to like someone who's like in the corporate comedy machine, it's like they just immediately paint you as like the most right-wing thing you can be. But if you take time to listen to like Adam Carolla's podcast when he has a comic on you, I'm like, he's not like that conservative. He's just not like progressive. And I think there's a lot of people like that who I go like, oh yeah, that guy's really like, I heard he went crazy. And then I listen to him talk and I'm like, no, he's fine.
Who's an example of someone else that went crazy and they're fine? Let
me think of somebody. I don't know. Start naming comics from the 90s and I'll...
From the 90s?
I don't know.
Paula Poundstone.
She's still kicking?
Dom Irrera.
Dom Herrera. Joe Rogan would be somebody who, when you listen to his podcast...
Joe Rogan is a liberal who just is pissy. He's a pissed off
He just has
liberal.
Which is what so many people are. It's like, if you ask me what my opinion on, like, I don't know, fucking homelessness is, it's a different opinion if I've had a shitty day.
Yeah, of course. It's also a different opinion if you just finished dropping acid or did DMT. Like, if you're coming out of a DMT trip, maybe you're going to say some wild things about vaccines.
Just fucking let it rip, man. I'm over it. I think that I've had this conversation with a lot of people who would not want to be named.
Ooh.
But it's like, I'm just trying to make a decision of like, this podcast is great, and until they don't let me have a podcast because who fucking Apple, the fucking bots in Apple that go back and like say, oh, this COVID got mentioned 3 times in this episode.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna take this down.
Well, there will be no COVID misinformation on this episode.
I don't even know what COVID misinformation means.
Oh,
you mean like things they said a year ago that you couldn't say that are now the CDC is parroting, even though they cut people off of YouTube for it? Is that what you mean?
Here we go.
Is that what you mean?
No, that's not misinformation. That's past information.
Okay.
Misinformation would be if you say something that you know is not true of what's going on. Like, the COVID vaccine does not kill you. There are no nanotech bots in it.
Okay.
There are people that still say that. But I think it's very fair to say, well, wait a second. That lab was doing gain-of-function research.
But you acknowledge that if you had just said that sentence 1 year ago on a podcast, they can take down your podcast, and we're doing that to people.
They could absolutely have done that, which to me doesn't make sense, because even then, that's not COVID misinformation. That's COVID question.
Yeah.
Did this come out of? I mean, if it came out of China, the story we were told was that it was some bat that then there was what is it called, zootropic shift or whatever the thing is, or whatever the word is for it, zoonotic. It I don't know. It starts with a zoo, and nobody
on this podcast or listening will care that you
first
get
of all,
this
they're
correct.
like, Isn't this about backup quarterback?
We'll get there, listeners.
Guys, we're building a bridge. Just watch or listen. Look, you've heard my episode already. I'm a long-winded, rambly cunt, okay? So we're going to get to all, this is all going to make sense. The landing will be stuck. Trust.
I did set up something very fun to do on the podcast a little bit later.
Let's do it.
You want to do it now?
I don't know. Well, do
there's
you want to continue talking about COVID?
No, we don't have to keep talking about fucking COVID misinformation. I just think the things that get labeled as COVID misinformation, like that word gets used for 100%. Things. I remember when Jon Stewart went on Colbert and was like making fun of the lab leak theory. Mm-hmm. And people were like, oh, has Jon Stewart gone off the... And it's like fucking...
No, he hasn't.
No.
He asked a question.
I saw CNN had an article yesterday that was like, oh, turns out obesity is not good for COVID.
They just now realized that?
Yes, they did a fucking article on it like a week ago.
Oh, my God.
Dude, it's insane. I hate corporate media.
Hate every time I try to defend so-called corporate media, there's always a news article or a headline that just blows it. That makes me go, oh, no.
That's what's frustrating about having any debate ever where you take a side is you can immediately point to 35 insane douchebags standing right next to you.
Yeah, I know.
And go, what about what that guy said that says the same thing you do? And you have to now defend the craziest things that your side says.
Perfect analogy for that. A football game. You might be in the stands rooting for the same team, but then you look over and you're like, oh, God, these are the fucking people I'm aligning with? These are fucking assholes and losers.
It's all the same people. I mean, what more fun could you have, like, if you were married to somebody who loved the team that you hate?
Is that the current situation then?
No, Liz just, she came right over to the Eagles.
I would imagine that. Good girl. I would imagine that would be a very stressful series of Sundays.
It honestly would not be. Like, because I'm not, I mean, maybe if I was in my 20s, it would have bothered me. But, like, you get older and you're like, it's, when the Eagles lose, like, Eagles got their ass kicked.
They sure did.
They got fucking blown up.
Bad.
Whew, it did not look good.
No, it did not.
Jalen.
Also, it didn't. Did you think that they had a chance?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
Not this year.
I mean, they don't have Nick Foles.
There it is. Let me put it this way.
You get rid of the Magic Man.
I'm gonna get again. It's MLK Day, but I'm about to say some real stupid shit. Ready?
Let's hear it.
I hate when a black quarterback sucks. I hate it, but you gotta call it. You gotta call a spade a spade. And in this instance, my goodness, Jalen Hurts.
He doesn't.
He's
suck.
not good.
He doesn't suck. I was reading an article that said what does he get paid? He gets like $1.5 million for the next 2 seasons or something.
Total?
Yes. No. Like per season.
Oh, okay.
That's his salary or his cap hit or whatever.
Okay.
They just listed the salaries of all the other quarterbacks that made the playoffs and then all the ones that didn't. I mean, right off the bat, Carson Wentz, the guy that he replaced, makes $32 million a year.
Carson Wentz is trash.
Well, we will talk about it because, I mean, holy shit. That was like, how vindicating for Eagles fans.
Sure. Where's Nick, by the way? Where is Nick Foles right now?
Oh, he's getting ass fucked in Chicago. That's what's happening.
Let me get a plane ticket.
Good.
Gotta go.
Yeah, good times.
Everything going on in Chicago with the Bears right now is all fun.
No, Nick Foles went 2-5 as a starter last year. They benched him, and then they made him the third stringer this year. They brought in Andy Dalton, and then they drafted Justin Fields. Nick Foles played 1 game this year. Mm-hmm. It was Week 16. What do you think he did?
He did great.
But how do you think he did great? What would
Nick, want a quarterback rating?
What would Nick? No. What would Nick Foles do? What's a Nick Foles thing to do in a game?
Oh man, I don't know Nick Foles that much.
Okay, he won on a fucking 2-point conversion with no time left.
Well, see, that's what Nick Foles would do.
Because he's magic.
The man. I mean, can we talk about the fact? I know this is old shit, but I just don't understand how if you beat the GOAT in a Super Bowl. That's why in New York, all those last years that we were there, you couldn't talk shit about Eli. He sucked, but you couldn't talk shit about him.
Nope.
He gave you 2 chips against the GOAT.
And that's the thing too with Eagles fans that I don't get. The ones that were like, yeah, but Carson Wentz is more talented. After he won a Super Bowl, I was like, I don't give a shit.
Give me the guy that fucking did
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He gets to play until he's dead.
Yep.
For all I'm concerned.
Where's
Like,
his statue? He deserves a statue right next to
He did
Rocky.
get a statue.
He got a statue. Nick Foles got a statue?
Not only did Nick Foles get a statue, Nick Foles got a statue while Carson Wentz was still the quarterback.
Oh, Philly, y'all are
It was
mean.
insane. It
Y'all
was
are
insane.
mean.
I've said this on the show before, but I'll say it again for new listeners. That would be like if my wife got a statue of the last guy she was fucking in my kitchen, and I had to walk past it every day, like throw a sheet over it every time I'm trying to get a sandwich, so I don't have to stare in the eyes.
And who would that be? What is that statue?
Oh boy!
Of whom?
Oh boy!
Of whom is that statue?
Oh fuck you! Thanks for coming on to the show, Lucas.
course.
It's been a pleasure having you. I hope you fucking roll under a bus on the way home.
Well, you'll be driving me home, so I hope that does not happen.
Well, it looks like you just booked your Uber.
Oh boy!
You and Jalen are making it harder on yourselves with your performances.
Wow, that is to compare me to Jalen Hurts is really not nice. That's all I can say.
He played like
shit. And hey, I'm a Niners fan, and I'm not particularly fond of
your quarterback.
Garoppolo. I hate him.
Well, look, before we talk about Garoppolo, we will go through all these games one by one,
Right,
but there
let's
is
do
an
it.
actual quarterback that is featured on this episode. I didn't tell you who it is.
You did not tell me. I'm coming in
cold.
blind, cold, naked, nude.
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich?
Reich? I think it's Reich.
I'll keep going.
Frank Reich?
That kind of, I don't know. That sounds
Do you
familiar.
know who that is? Do you remember the game where the Bills came back from 35-3
Against the Houston Oilers?
Yes. So Frank Reich was the backup quarterback to Jim
Kelly
that started that game and led the comeback.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so he's like...
Wait. So Jim Kelly got benched in that game?
No. So the Bills were playing the Oilers in the last game of the season, and Jim Kelly tore his ACL.
Oh.
The Oilers beat him.
Okay.
And then the wild card game was a rematch. But now the Oilers had to come to Buffalo.
Sure.
The backup quarterback for the Bills, Frank Reich, is starting.
Mm-hmm.
They go down 35-3 at halftime, and they came back in the second half and won in overtime.
Brilliant. Against Warren Moon.
Against Warren Moon.
Yeah.
One of the great Canadian football players of all time.
Also an African-American, MLK Day.
Also.
Or was he a Canadian-American?
Well, he can still be black and Canadian.
I meant African-Canadian.
I don't think he's from Canada.
He's not from Canada, okay.
No. I think he...
Did I just say Canadian-American?
It was a weird time there because, like, you could even, like... I mean, there were guys that... Like, Reggie White played in the USFL. Like, I feel like the NFL actually had, like, competition a little bit. Like, guys wouldn't go...
Canadian football definitely, I remember, being a little more of a competitive league in terms of its relationship to the NFL than it is now. Like, it never gets talked about
now it's like somebody's like, you can come be a scrub on the Dolphins or start in the Grey Cup, and it's not even...
Is that their championship? Or
it's their
the Grey Cup?
It's the Grey Cup.
The Canadians.
I know. Oh, boy. All right, so Frank Reich is the quarterback.
Yes.
And so what I did, I'm very proud of this, I made a little quiz.
Oh.
So this is the first time we've had Bring in the Backups trivia.
Okay.
But I'm going to debut that with you. I have some questions about Frank Reich. You can if you don't know him, you can give me an educated guess.
Sure,
But
I'll try my best.
Are you up for the challenge?
I'm up for the challenge.
All right,
challenge.
Here we go. Bring in the Backups trivia with Lucas Hazlett. Even have a little bit of music. Does this sound like trivia music?
No, this sounds like I've been diagnosed with cancer, and you're telling me everything's gonna be okay.
All right, look, this is the music for the trivia, okay? Maybe we'll change it next week. Question number 1. Frank Reich. Is it Reich? It sounds like I'm pronouncing
how the
like
fuck
the
should I
third
know?
Reich.
That's why I was a little like.
It's probably
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich. Frank Reich. I'm just
Oh,
say
how do you spell it?
Reich.
That's right.
That's right, baby. That's right, baby. Frank Reich. I'm overdoing it. Frank Reich famously played for the Buffalo Bills from 1985 to 1994, but he also played for 3 other teams in the NFL. Which of these 3 teams did he not play for?
Okay.
A, the Carolina Panthers. B, the New York Jets. Or C, the Detroit Lions.
So which team did he not
play for?
So the Panthers, the Jets, and the Lions. I'm going to say the Detroit Lions.
Final answer.
That's my final answer.
Lucas, that is incorrect.
Damn.
He played for all three.
Oh, well, wait, you...
0 for 1.
Wait. You said which of these teams did he not play for, and I'm supposed to go, oh, he played for all of them.
Let's not get into the questions.
I see what we're doing
incorrect.
here.
It was an incorrect answer.
Okay.
Question number 2. In the 1985 draft, Frank Reich was selected in the 3rd round with the 57th pick. What college was he drafted from? A, University of Michigan. B, Sam Houston State. C, Virginia Tech. Or D, the University of Georgia. And before you answer, there is a hint for this if you'd like it.
I definitely need the hint.
Okay. Frank Reich once made a video against having sex before marriage, and I personally found it a little hokey.
So you're telling me the Hokies is who he played for.
That's the hint.
So it's not Michigan, because they're the Wolverines. What was the other one?
A, Michigan.
So it's not
B,
that.
Sam Houston State.
Probably that.
C, Virginia Tech.
Wait. I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. They're the Hokies, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, the other option is Georgia.
Well, Georgia's the dog, the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So it's... And Sam... it's either Sam Houston or Virginia Tech. I kind of want to go with... I'm torn. I fucking don't know what Virginia Tech.
Just take your best
Let's
guess.
go with Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech, final answer.
Yes.
That is incorrect.
It was Sam Houston Hokies,
It's actually the University of Maryland. So you're 0 for 2.
You didn't even say that one. Wait, the University of Maryland, aren't they the Terrapins?
They are.
So you just gave me a false hint?
Question 3.
Wait a second. Who's
You're 0 for 2.
calling the plays in the booth?
0 for 2.
All right.
Question number 3. True or false? You can't fuck with this one. True or false? Frank Reich is a deeply religious man, and his faith has never wavered.
True.
Final answer, true?
Yeah, final answer.
Incorrect.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You can never truly know someone's heart.
Also, by the way, the timing with this music was perfect on that. That was fantastic.
Okay, last question.
This is absolute horseshit.
Frank Reich's German-American father. It's definitely Reich.
Yeah, it's
Frank
Reich.
Reich's German-American father played at Penn State from 1953 to 1955. On defense, he played linebacker. But what position did he participate in offensively? A, center. B, guard. C, tackle. Or D, quarterback.
He never played on offense. You're lying.
No, the answer is A, center.
You know what? This
All
is
right.
absolute horseshit.
0 for 4, Lucas, and a very Jalen-like performance here on the first episode.
Wow. I mean, I'm also mixed. Isn't Jalen mixed? There's some about when you mix Negroes and whites. We just sometimes we're good. You get
Oh
on the
boy,
homes
there's the Instagram clip for the show.
Yeah, clip this. Here's what miscegenation gets you, folks. Sometimes it gets you Patrick Mahomes. Sometimes it gets you Jalen Hurts.
What's the word?
Miscegenation.
Miscegenation.
Yes, it means the mixing of races. MLK.
Love MLK. By the way, anybody who's listening to this show right now, if you'd like to call in and leave me a message, ask me a question, you can do that at 323-716-6072. That is the Bring in the Backups hotline, Lucas.
Oh.
One more time, that number, 323-716-6072. A little bit later in the show, we're going to be listening to some voicemails that people left from the last show.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we have 6 voicemails to
I
play.
was wondering if you were setting me up for like a bit where I'm supposed to call in a voice and improvise. Like,
Hey, Eric, who's this Negro you got talking about Jalen Adams? Miscegenation. I don't tune into your podcast.
I wrote everything that Lucas is saying on the podcast. I handed him a script before he came in.
yeah, none of this is improvised or off the top of my head. I'm just a really bad actor.
It's definitely Frank Reich.
It's definitely Frank Reich.
Reich.
Right.
But you're saying it like there's a K, and it's Reich.
You're right. You're
That's
supposed to draw it out a little, like
Reich.
Reich.
That's the
Frank Reich. But it's Frank Reich. Right?
Yeah, but the Frank is CH too. It's the Frank.
No,
Reich.
it's not.
No,
that
obviously
would just
it's
be. He should get the shit kicked out of him in class for that. You can't have doubled CHs. That's impossible.
What? Just like that's like too rough a name.
At the end, you could be like Charlie Reich, but you can't be Frank Reich. It's just like,
Now that you've said it that way, I really do wish that was his name. That would be a much better name.
Frank Reich. Yeah.
Introducing number 1, Frank Reich.
You know what's funny is in my head, I was going to do the Frank, because there's a part where I go through the Wikipedia page and I talk about the backup. And I usually do that by myself. And then other times I've had the guest here and I'm doing it. And I didn't make up my mind before we started recording whether or not I would do the backup quarterback part with you, or we could just have a normal interview and I'll do it. I'll do like a pre.
What do you mean? Like you just read their Wikipedia?
Well, I shit on them a little bit.
I think you should do that by yourself.
All right.
No, I'm not like I don't want to participate in the shitting on Frank Reich, but I mean, I feel like that gives you a little bit more control over what you want to say and how you want it.
How I want to get through this stuff. You're right. So this will just be like a little addendum. We don't have to talk about Frank Reich the whole time.
Thank you.
I probably should have told you.
Yeah, that would have helped.
That would have helped.
I could have done a little bit of research. Like,
well, I didn't want
Greg Giraldo used to do a little bit of pre-scripted jokes before he went on Tough Crowd.
I know exactly why you know that.
Why do I know that?
Because
I'm a fan of the show Tough Crowd.
Okay.
But I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, Patrice used to make fun of him all the time.
Yes. And Patrice O'Neal, R.I.P., is
The GOAT.
arguably the funniest stand-up comic of all time.
You know who came up with the term the GOAT?
Who? Wasn't that Muhammad Ali?
No.
Who?
It was LL Cool J.
That's not true.
He's got a song called GOAT.
Dude, but Muhammad Ali was saying, I'm the greatest of all time. He was saying that prior.
He never said GOAT.
I'm sure he said GOAT.
LL Cool J came up with GOAT.
Okay, if you say so. I mean, the man
Don't make
does,
me tell you about black rappers, but I'm telling you, he's the guy that came up with it.
The man has a gift for acronyms and LL Cool J. Like, okay, maybe he is a wordsmith in that regard. He sees letters and puts them together.
Lucas, on Martin Luther King Day,
MLK.
I would not.
There you go.
I would not.
You would not.
I would not misquote.
Sure.
The credit that
you're not spreading Negro misinformation.
I'll let you say that. I'm not gonna.
I think for the sake of it, you should say it as well.
Negro.
There it is.
Misinformation.
Love it. The way he says it. Fox News is just calling. The switchboard's lighting up. Fox News is calling in right now. They want to hire
Will Kane, you're on with bringing
Kane.
The backups.
What? How did he go from the asshole who filled in for Max Kellerman to Fox News? He hosts when
he hosts
he's
the show.
A backup for Tucker Carlson.
Could you have possibly come up with two more disparate people to confuse?
No, I know.
Chris Tucker. No, Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson is good before and
I'm
after.
glad you believe in a colorblind society as well, if you can confuse Chris Tucker and Tucker Carlson.
Listen, I'm not confusing the humans. I'm confusing the words because Tucker is the base, and I'm trying to call up words, not images.
Yeah.
I definitely did not.
Is he the replacement for Tucker Carlson? I've just seen
He's
him
like
do.
the backup. Like
he's the backup.
When Tucker's out, sometimes he gets Will Kane.
Will
Just
Kane
like,
in for Tucker Carlson.
When Hannity is out, he gets Trey Gowdy. Sometimes fills in for.
Okay, I don't know who Trey Gowdy is.
He's a former representative. Conservative representative.
Okay.
I watch a lot of Fox News because you got to know what the fuck their take is so you can see what your enemy is thinking.
I watch a lot of Fox News so I can lie awake at night being like, oh my God, I agreed with 33% of it. What's happening? That's my fear.
I don't think that should be your fear because the truth is not one-sided. It's spherical. You have to get every angle of the truth to understand. And sometimes there are nuggets of truth in what they're saying, even though why they've discovered it or why they're pushing that is suspect.
It's the same thing about Alex Jones. It's like he says insane shit, but he's also been right on a couple things where you're like, well, we might not have known about that if he hadn't have said something.
Let's not forget, Alex Jones exposed the Bohemian Grove. He was one of the first people to get video of it. But I mean, that's cool. But then if with that information, you then go, they were planning to indoctrinate us with, you're just like, no, you got to stop. It's just a bunch of politicians that get naked in the woods.
Well, that's interesting to me because that will make me feel a little bit better because I always feel like I'm like being like pulled into a vortex of like conservatism. I'm like, I'm getting older. Like that's what they always said, like you get older, you get more conservative. But like, that is the way you should watch everything, is with an open mind to be like, well, that's a good point. I disagree with that. Instead of like, I don't blanket discount anything that I'm watching based on the source because there's always something that you could learn, even if it's coming from a person who has an ulterior motive. There could be whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
The entire goal, I think, of a human person in terms of how they receive information should be weighing the source of the information, weighing the delivery of it, getting an understanding of context, getting an understanding of motive, and also just weighing the factuality, the verisimilitude, if you will, of the information you're being given. I mean, again, just so everyone, like I've said this to you people out there listening, the reason I specifically am attuned to this is just because my major was in philosophy. So naturally, you have to read a bunch of shit that you're just like, this is batshit insane. But you have to understand that in order to move on to what the next in line was commenting on. And so, look. Yeah, that's all.
Great. Yeah. No, that was not a bad rant.
No, it was hardly a rant. It was more of a. Also, by the way, I am experiencing for the first time in my life the effects of alcohol on memory and recall. I will really? Absolutely. My brain will just sometimes go, you're done. You're done. Stop. Just stop talking.
Are you drinking heavily?
Heavily is not the right term. The right term is frequently, routinely. And I would say routinely specifically because every 4 o'clock I have a shot, and then a shot an hour later, a shot an hour later, and then I start drinking.
Oh, you do that every night?
Yeah. Except for nights where I'm doing something else, where I'll just be drinking casually.
Is there something like soothing about like having it at the same time every night? Like, what's the reason for
There's
it being
probably
on a
little bit of that. I mean, again, this pattern emerged during the pandemic, so it's like I think a lot of people started figuring out little things to have control over because so many of our lives were out of our control. But I think it was just because, I had to figure out. Also, it's not that crazy considering when I was in New York, this, every day at 5 o'clock, I would hit the bar. So it's the same, technically similar time alcoholism. So it is a routine, but I wouldn't say I'm drinking more than I was before. Just more, the effect of it on my brain is more noticeable.
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know, like, that sounds like OCD to me, but I don't really know how to diagnose OCD. But like, have you ever thought of like, do you have those types of tendencies?
Well, OCD.
Like if you don't, like if you're at home.
If I don't have a shot at 4, it doesn't ruin my night. No, I don't go, I need to. No, I'm not compulsive. Nor
you just
am I
have
obsessive.
to dangle Greg off the roof and by his shoes.
I don't think you should be bringing up third-party people on a podcast.
I'm sorry.
That's a breach of privacy.
I could do a little bleep over Greg's name.
You know what? Damn it! Oh my God!
I'm giving myself work.
Greg.
All right, now I really gotta.
No, I'm just joking. No, I don't believe that I have that. I don't have that as a disorder. But like most people, I have compulsions and I have obsessions. But I wouldn't say that qualifies as either. I'm more of a routine guy. If I have a routine that I really like, I'm like, can we stick to the fucking routine? As I would imagine many quarterbacks have.
So I've got the list of wild card games up right now.
Oh, okay.
And this is from, for people who don't know, we're recording this on Monday, January 17th. MLK Day. The podcast comes out on the 18th, so we're not going to be able to talk about the Rams-Cardinals games. That has not happened yet. But did you watch the Raiders-Bengals?
Absolutely. Ooh, speaking of that, I just 30 minutes ago missed a phone call from my dad, who is a huge Raiders fan.
Is he really?
Oh, boy.
Is that why you're a 49ers fan?
Yeah. He still will tell me how much he hates the fucking Steelers and Franco Harris because that fucking immaculate catch cost him hundreds of dollars. To this day, we'll still bring that up.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
hundreds of dollars, which
back in
then,
1970 some is like a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Especially for a guy living out of his van.
It feels weird to me that the Raiders, because I was at Home Depot today and a lady had a little Raiders pin on.
Oh, did she?
I guess she was like a Oakland Raiders fan. But now that they're in Vegas, do the Oakland fans like stick with the team?
Well, I can't speak for
give it up?
I can't speak for the provincialness of it all. But I do know that the Raiders fans love the Raiders. They loved them when they were in Oakland, LA. They still love them in Vegas. They love the brand, not the geography. So I think that people still love the team deeply. So they don't care where the team is. Plus, I mean, Vegas is not that far away from LA. It's like
For Oakland.
I mean, it's a little further away from Oakland.
Yeah.
But it's still within a geographical region that you can still kind of claim ownership on. It's not like they moved to like Seattle or
It's not like Seattle going to Oklahoma City or something where you're like,
it's certainly
we
not
are
like
leaving.
that. Yeah,
leaving.
that's brutal. They just went to the next city that needed a franchise, and LA, you can get to Vegas in an hour and a half by plane. So it's just like,
Yeah, I don't know. I always have like a weird, like it sucks. Like there's so much, I mean, Madden died and like there's so much like history with that franchise and that city and like the Oakland Raiders. Like
in what city? Because they have just as much history in LA as well.
They have more history in Oakland. They won their championships in Oakland.
They also won a championship in LA.
When?
They
With
won,
Madden?
No, not with Madden. They won in LA in '84 in LA with Marcus Allen against the Redskins. That was LA.
That was the LA Raiders.
That was the LA Raiders. They were Oakland Raiders when they beat the Eagles in '80. You have a computer. Let's double check.
Is that true?
I think that's true.
How positive are you on that?
I am 90% positive.
I'm just going to type in LA Raiders championship. This is always the best part of the podcast.
Yep, 1984, Los Angeles Raiders, Super Bowl champions.
Fuck me.
But they've won more in Oakland. They won 2 in Oakland, and they won 1 in LA.
That's crazy that they won 1 in Los Angeles. I did not know that. I thought they went to LA in the 90s, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, that's the I don't know why this is coming up, but Marcus Allen, I don't know if he was the MVP of that game, but he had a very famous run. And 10 years later, when O.J. Simpson did what he did, there was O.J. and Marcus Allen were friends, and Marcus Allen very clearly was having sex with Nicole, and people were comparing Marcus Allen to being the younger O.J. And so that, we should all be happy that Marcus Allen.
I did not know that he was having sex with Nicole Simpson.
But they ran. Imagine this. O.J. Simpson was the darling of Los Angeles because he went to USC, and I believe Marcus Allen also went to USC, and also, don't quote me on Heisman, but he also was a good enough player that he was up for it. And then he brings L.A. their Super Bowl. Marcus Allen was getting a lot of heat, and it's like, what does the city of LA want more? OJ and Naked Gun movies in 4 years, or a Super Bowl championship? And it's like, Marcus Allen was the hot shit in the 80s, so I'm sure that didn't please Mr. Simpson.
Wow. So do you think maybe her banging Marcus Allen was like part of the cause?
Definitely probably played a little part in it. I wouldn't be shocked if the two of them did little fullback, running back, fullback.
Come
action.
on, dude.
Come on, I can't be gross. I can't be gross.
On MLK Day?
Especially on MLK Day.
I don't know. She was murdered.
Hey, she was... Well, yes, of course she was murdered. There's no
I'm just saying, like, we speak ill of the dead.
I'm not speaking ill of the dead. I'm speaking ill of when she was alive. And also, I'm not speaking ill. Having sex with 2 NFL players is not ill. That's what hot white women in the 80s should do.
That's what they should do. There's nothing. You're right. There's nothing wrong. I don't know why I said that was my like puritanical, like Catholic upging there, putting that onto her.
You want to use whatever language you want. It's
you want to get put on an NFL.
It's not your Catholic. It's your whiteness.
You want to get put. Why is it white?
Because you this snow angel.
It is so not
being
that.
run through by 2 big burly bucks.
It is so not that. It is so not that. I'd be very look when I can separate my own childhood from it. I'm very happy if some lady of any race, creed, religion gets put on a NFL backfield rotisserie for an hour or 2, I'm very happy for her.
Sure.
But I have to remember
That you're white?
I have to no, not that I'm white. I have to remember that I'm.
Eric, what are those sheets in the laundry?
Do you ever like evolve on something and then forget that you evolved on it?
I need an example.
Like you're like.
I evolved on my feelings about O.J. Simpson when I was a kid. I was like, he ain't do that shit. He ain't do that.
But, okay, so let's just use your example.
Okay.
So you feel that way.
Let's keep it on football.
Let's keep it on football, and then and then you evolve and you go, okay, obviously he is guilty.
Yeah.
But then you're just having a rough day and you go, man, he didn't do that shit. You just forget that you taught you.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget that I've evolved on people being more promiscuous with sex. Does that make sense?
It does.
Even just using the phrase promiscuous with sex shows you that I used to have an issue with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we delve into that a little bit?
Yeah, that is not a white thing. That's a Catholic thing.
No, that's not a white thing.
It's a
That
Catholic
is
thing.
Dumb thing. That's sad.
It's of course, yeah, I agree.
But the thing that's so weird about it is that, I mean, I guess the idea of it's the promiscuity, not the sex, that's the problem. Because Catholics are not opposed to sex if it's within the family.
I think it's
like within the family like that.
I think it's like anytime you have sex where you're not trying to have kids.
Oh,
that's kind of
sure.
like that's the rule. That's kind of the rule.
That is what I forget the word for that of when the spilling of seed that is not for impregnating a woman. There is an actual term. It's like ostracism.
Selfification?
No, but there's a word for that. We can find that later. But yeah, Catholics have a word for everything. They used Latin. They stretched that motherfucking language out. They have a word for every fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting religion. Anyway, so yeah, the Raiders-Bengals game. That's what got us started on that.
Yeah, see? That's my personal apology to your listeners. I get a word. Me and Eric are going to go all the way to Catholicism.
I was like, I knew I asked something about football.
Yes.
It was a Raiders-Bengals game. I thought Burrow played.
Yo, that kid's the truth.
He's great.
He is amazing.
He's great.
He came out like not at the exact same year, but it's him. A little earlier than him, across town or across the state is Cleveland.
Baker.
Baker. So it's like there is that kind of thing that we get to experience. When we were kids, we saw it with Peyton Manning and whatnot. But like the big name that comes out of college, and they immediately get put. They're a starter.
Yeah.
Like they just get thrown in. And some people, they succeed. Most are miserable. They fail. It's like the game is so much faster, and it's like, so in the way that Baker Mayfield has kind of, even though the motherfucker keeps getting commercials, my goodness,
he's killing that game.
Joe Burrow ain't in a single commercial, and this motherfucker Baker Mayfield's in all the commercials.
Little is, I think,
charming.
He's a little more likable, and I think he knows how to.
I think Baker Mayfield
that,
needs to see the tea leaves and realize that there's a lot of impatient people out there who want to see in Cleveland what Cincinnati is seeing Joe Burrow do this year. Yeah. They want that for him. They would rather him not be in all those fucking, what is it? What's that commercial he's always
State
in?
Farm?
Is it State? It's like an insurance commercial.
Yeah.
They would rather you be getting the job done. I mean, you had, I know we got to get to the game, but I'm just like, if you have three dope receivers who all by name scare the shit out of people, and you can't fucking figure that out.
You're talking about OBJ. He's not there anymore though.
He's not. He's not there, and the other guy's not there anymore.
Jarvis Landry.
And who was the third? They had a third dope dude.
Guy.
But anyway, if you're a quarterback and you have three names, you got to win.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was in Cleveland. I mean, this is going back to
OBJ's on the Rams.
But he was last year. Yeah. He was on the Browns. I was in Cleveland a year ago, and people were shitting on Baker. Maybe they've changed their tune now. I should say people outside of Cleveland were shitting on Baker, but every single Browns fan I talked to was like, "We love him."
Okay,
we're like, I didn't meet a single person. I was in Akron for a week.
What the hell were you doing there?
I was doing a festival.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I did a couple shows in Cleveland, and I even asked like a crowd one night. I was like, "Boo if you don't like Baker." It was literally like nobody.
They couldn't process it. What do you mean, boo?
I think they went to the playoffs.
That is true.
And like they hadn't done that for a very long time.
That's fair.
That was like enough, I felt like.
They lost to the Chiefs?
Yeah, right?
There was a moment. This was last year, wasn't it?
When they beat the Steelers to get in,
Yes.
and that is like
It's only been that was last year, and you're hating on him. The dude, he lost to the team that went to the Super Bowl.
They also used to give guys like who is fucking Archie Manning?
Yeah,
He played on the Saints for like 11 years. They never went to the playoffs once.
sure.
He was their starter. How?
I don't get it.
Could that happen now?
No.
Even
Absolutely
a guy
not.
like Stafford in Detroit or something. Like the fans were like getting on him, and I think he went to one playoff game. But it's like everybody just wants shit so fast. Jalen Hurts, for all as bad as he played, he's fucking 23 years old.
He's a young kid.
He's basically a rookie.
Yeah. Okay.
He-
Everyone has to remember. Name any the legendary quarterbacks. Montana's first year
Flutie.
stunk. 79 stunk. Flutie, you can't just slide that in there. Aikman, first year, 1-15. Steve Young, first year, was getting his ass killed in Tampa Bay.
Sean King,
the activist. Sean King.
No, there's a
His
quarter.
first
There's
year,
a quarterback.
He couldn't activate shit his first year.
There's a quarterback named Sean King.
I don't know who that is.
All right. We got to move. We have seven other games.
What did we want to talk about the game?
I don't know. I just fucking pulled
Oh,
them up, and
all
now I
right.
feel like we should talk about them, but we don't have to. Let's try to get this next one done in
Sure.
5 seconds or less.
Okay, great.
Bills, Patriots, go.
Bills.
Bills.
Josh
All right.
Allen, amazing.
Josh Allen, amazing.
That dude is killing it, and I love Stephon Diggs. I love him.
Did you see the him fighting with Josh Allen a little bit, where he was like, Stephon Diggs was like, play smart. Josh Allen was like, yeah, and he goes, no, play smart.
But they're boys.
They're boys.
I love that kind of
But
shit.
but Stephon Diggs is giving him some
Good.
shit, and Josh Allen goes, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you, and then they laugh, and then on the sidelines they're like, we're all good. Yeah, we're all good.
I think that's exactly
that's
the
what
kind
you
of
need.
relationship you need to succeed in the NFL.
Bills. What do you think about Mac Jones? 3 seconds or less.
Is Mac Jones the one that had the picture with the cigar and the shirtless, and he's kind of doughy?
They're trying to get Tom Brady 2 in there. They're like, get me a doughy rookie.
Hey, that is fair. We all forget that Tom Brady started off doughy and doofy.
Yeah,
So
he
they're-
really did.
Mac Jones could do it. I don't know.
could do it. Yeah, he's got a good coach. All right, Eagles Bucks. We got to say anything about that. We talked about it. It was horrible.
The Bucks looked great though.
They do. Tom Brady's a sociopath.
Yeah.
Glad the Eagles fought at the end to make it a little more, make the score look better, but it was bad. We talk about your guys, 49ers.
Bro, there is absolute. I don't know what next week will hold. So who knows what will happen against. I mean, we'll probably lose. It's in Lambeau. We're playing against
you
the
will
Packers.
be destroyed.
Historically, though, Rodgers sometimes gets a little in his head about the Niners. I don't know what it is. He's not the best against us, but sometimes he cuts through our defense like a hot butter knife through brie. Like he is cheese reference.
Through Bree, though.
Yeah, well,
but
that's
Bree
classic.
has a very hard exterior.
Exactly. And then it cuts through that and gets right through the cream.
Why wouldn't you just pick something like butter that has an easy stroke the whole way?
Because the first quarter, Rodgers is going to struggle a little bit, but then he's going to figure that shit out. That's what he does to us.
This is the definition of someone being too smart for their own good, where you can back your way out of that Brie comment. You should have said butter. You knew it.
I did say butter knife, but still.
But you didn't want to say butter twice in the sentence, and that's why you went with Brie.
Thank you for deconstructing my foibles as a conversationalist. He's not wrong, though, folks, but thanks.
That is what happened.
All I'm saying is Shanahan is such a frustrating coach. He sees something is working, and he'll go away from it.
Yes.
And then he'll go back to it. It works even better.
Yeah.
And then he goes away from it. And it's like we should have. First of all, I was thinking, the Cowboys are going to get us miraculously. This is all set up for a. Sometimes you see that in games where you're just like, oh fuck, we're on the wrong end of the miracle. It happens. But thank God the Cowboys are fucking idiots, and so. I mean,
Dak really fucked up that last play, man.
I have
he
never seen a dumber play in my life.
That was pretty bad. I'm trying to think of a dumber play that I've seen. I don't know, man. Like I can think of no, it was pretty dumb.
I think it was the dumbest playoff play I've ever seen in my life because we've seen plays of
Leon Lett in the Super Bowl.
I knew you were going to bring something up like that.
Might
but
be.
Leon Lett didn't. That play there was no stakes. Like, it didn't matter that happened.
Yeah,
He
okay.
is a lineman. He's never been in that position before where he's going to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Yeah. And he had no idea that, what was it, Bebe? What was his name? That little.
It's definitely not Bebe.
But it was Bebe. He's got a name like
it's
that.
Bebe.
So Bebe is like maybe the fastest white receiver in the history of the game.
He's no Tim Dwight, who was very fast for the Falcons in the 90s.
Oh, see, they had a couple.
Yeah.
And so that was a boneheaded play. It wasn't stupid. This was stupid. The game is on the line. You need to understand you have no time. This was Chris Webber-esque.
Yeah,
That's how dumb this was. This was a Chris Webber-esque play. This will haunt. I feel like
Chris Webber's play, it's bad, but he just forgot how many timeouts they had. Like, that's not, to me, that's a mental lapse, but it's not like you don't understand. You don't understand.
That's a good point.
This is like an I don't understand the game. I'll give you one.
Well, I just want to yes and that real quick. You're 100% right. Chris Webber calling timeout at that exact moment was the right thing to do if you had a timeout.
Of course.
Dak Prescott doing what Dak Prescott did in that situation is never the right thing to do. You, with 5-8 seconds left, you never run it up the gut when they're giving you that, because that's what they want you to do. You want to get out of bounds.
But also you hand the ball to the ref. Like, the thing is, if that's your play, you're like, hey, they're not even defending it. Let's pick up 10 yards. It doesn't have to be a Hail Mary.
Sure.
I can get behind that if you know that as soon as you're down, you hand the ball to the ref, line up, spike it with 2 seconds left.
Sure.
But how do you call that play and not understand what the rule is? I mean, I remember when McNabb, the Eagles tied the Bengals one year, and at the end of the game, McNabb was like, I didn't realize that you could tie. And you were like, dude, you're in the NFL. You didn't know that if nobody scores in overtime, the game ends? Oh. Like, you thought it went to like another quarter. That's crazy to me.
That is crazy.
But like,
that's not a dumb play.
It's
that's
just like a dumb guy
who didn't know the rules of the game he's playing. Dak is a smart guy making a really dumb decision.
Yeah, it was a dumb decision. Here's the thing. I don't even think the decision's that dumb. I can get behind the decision to run. It's not knowing what happens after you're down.
Agreed.
It's not knowing that that you don't get to just finish a play and hand the ball to your center, and then he chooses. It's like, we're not playing in our fucking backyard.
Exactly.
The ref, and you saw the ref move the ball back.
Yes,
a half yard, and that was the second they needed to spike it.
You don't get to place the ball. If the players got to place the ball where they want it, it'd be first downs for everyone. It was dumb.
It was dumb. It was. I don't. It's not like they would have for sure won the game if they had gotten the spike.
Sure, that's also true.
Yeah, they would have. I mean, Garoppolo let him back in. I mean, we could talk about that forever.
I don't even want to talk about him, especially because in the post game, he looked so happy, right, and was talking as if like they won the game. The Niners did not win that game. They didn't lose it. Mm-hmm. And to have a quarterback who is, I mean, look, all good looks and, swarthy, handsome Mediterraneanness aside, he's a Nimrod. He's an idiot on the field, and he proved that as an athlete, he's an idiot off the field. If that were Tom Brady wouldn't be smiling and being like, well, we got it done. He'd be like, this was an embarrassing win, and we're going to come out and make sure we don't fuck up like this again.
Yeah. I knew a guy from Israel named Nimrod.
Oh, that is some people's. I mean, that's a real.
It's a real name.
It's a real name that got co-opted by
Green Day. Did Green Day do that?
No. They definitely didn't help. But that word Nimrod, it's like if someone calls you a Benedict Arnold, and it's like, that's a guy, but his actions became synonymous with the name. And so if you want to call someone a traitor, you call them a Benedict Arnold.
How long until Adolf comes back? Because I don't mind Adolf as a German name.
I mean, Adolf should not be as stigmatized as it is. Hitler, sorry, that's gone.
Hitler can't come back.
Hitler can never come back.
Can Mussolini come back?
Mussolini can come back.
Maybe as like a dish.
Oh my god! Nice big thing of Mussolini.
Yo, Mussolini.
Yeah, and then
that would not taste.
I would love if Mussolini came back. I would love then if Edie Falco, because I just binged The Sopranos. I would love then to hear her abbreviate it like she did. She always used to say on The Sopranos, "Oh, you want this manigot?" It's like, just say manicotti. Just say manicotti.
Manicotti.
Everything was always, "You want this manigot? You want this gabagool?" It's like, just say the thing. So she would be like, "You want some of this mouzalou?" And you're just like, ugh.
It's stylized.
It's stylized.
They're making a choice. Do you think Mal can come back? I'm not just talking about the politics in California.
Mal
Do you
can
think
come
Mal?
back? Yes. Did you just claim that Governor Newsom is a dictatorial commie?
All right, let's go to the Steelers and the
Steelers
Chiefs.
and the Chiefs. Chiefs just did what they do.
Smashed them.
Not a great way to end a career
For Ben?
for Ben, but
Ben Roethlisberger, great quarterback. Not
good quarterback.
He was a great.
He's great.
In his prime.
One Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers has one Super Bowl. You can't just base it on that.
You've bested him on that one.
Roethlisberger was a great quarterback. He wasn't great with the ladies.
No, he raped them.
Yes, that's the better way to put it.
Yeah, he raped them.
Anyway, Chiefs move forward, and then let's do this. Let's take a little prediction for the Cardinals Rams. What do you got?
You don't have any music for the predictions?
I do have some music. Are you ready for
Get
it?
this prediction music.
All right. Let me get some prediction music here.
You don't have to fill this space up. You can edit this.
No. I wanna have some prediction music.
Prediction music.
Are you ready? Okay.
Okay, so one chord.
Here we go.
Okay. This is the exact same music as the trivia music.
Let's hear your prediction.
For what game?
Just gonna make the music louder.
For what game?
No, I don't know. Just pick the Rams Cardinals.
Oh, you're doing a prediction for this? I think the Rams will win.
You got a score?
I think it'd probably be a high-scoring game. If the Rams, you can't beat the Cardinals in a low-scoring affair. The Cardinals are just too high-octane.
Yeah.
So I think it'll probably be 31-27.
31-27. You said high octane. You said high octane.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very elevated way of speech. I was impressed by it.
Okay, high octane is just a stupid way of saying it's gasoline that increases rocket thrust. I don't know. I just
No. The word high octane is fine. Mm-hmm. I say high octane, but I say high octane like I don't go up. You said high octane.
Oh, I said high octane.
It was the way you said it.
Well, I'm a pretentious faggot, so that's why. I get what you're getting at. Look, okay.
I like analyzing people's speech patterns. I think
that's smart, by the way.
I'm gonna pick the Cardinals in an upset here.
Is that technically an upset if the Cardinals win?
It's got to be an upset. It's in L.A.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and the Cardinals, I think they lost 4 of their last 5.
If the Rams lose
3 of their last 4
in L.A. when the Super Bowl is in SoFi Stadium, that's a big oopsie.
There has never been a team that has played in the stadium of their own stadium in the Super Bowl.
That's true.
I'm going to go Rams. Or excuse me. I'm going to go Cardinals in an upset. And I said before, I love Kyler Murray.
He's great.
So I would say...
I just see Aaron Donald putting that ass on him real tight.
I'm going to go 31-27 Cardinals.
Okay.
How about that? Huh? So there's a little symmetry.
A little inversion.
All right, and I'll put that down in my show notes later so that it can be easily referenced for people when they want to come back, see who was right.
Hopefully some of those voicemails we get later. You get your next
I forgot
guest.
about the voicemails. God damn it.
Just trying to keep it moving.
You're like, game starts in 5 minutes, you son of a bitch.
We don't have to see the beginning. I don't need to see who the lame vocalist they trot out to sing the national anthem for the regional game. I don't need that.
It'll be somebody good.
It is LA, so they should be able to get somebody good, but come on. That's always someone.
Did they give Fergie a shot again? Let her redeem herself.
Oh my God.
Because she's a great singer.
No, she's not. She's never been a good
Have you heard London Bridge?
I play it. I don't know by
name.
name.
I can't play it on the podcast.
Okay,
I think I can.
Oh, that's fair. You can't play it on the
podcast. I think we can sing it for 5 seconds.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know it by name.
You know that song.
How
song? Come every time you come around my London? That song.
Well, just like London Bridge, I hope that song falls.
She should sing. She should sing the Star Spangled Banner to the tune of London Bridge.
Sure,
I think
it would be a lot better than when she tried to sing it with the arrangement that Whitney Houston used. By the way,
she didn't sing it. Wait, did she really sing it with
the arrangement, not the arrangement of how Whitney sang it, meaning like the chords that she changed. The national anthem. She didn't sing it with Whitney's backtrack. She didn't use the music of it.
Yeah.
You do realize, first of all, just a little side note, every July 4th for like 4 or 5 years at the People's Improv Theater, there would be an Independence Day improv festival for all the so-called indie teams, which just means teams that are not specifically affiliated with the house teams at any of the theaters. And the team that we were on, we would always play Whitney Houston's national anthem. And to this day, not only is that still obviously my favorite rendition of the anthem, I actually sometimes just listen to it because I've come to appreciate what the arranger did in changing the national anthem. It's one of the greatest works of arrangement I've ever heard in my life.
It's a truly great performance.
It is.
Obviously, it's like Whitney at her prime, and it's just, you can always tell it's like the effortlessness of great singers in those moments.
It's I think great people make hard things look effortless.
You know what I was watching? I got Liz, my wife, for any brand new listeners, to watch Randall Cunningham highlights.
Okay.
And she was watching him, and she was like, it's so effortless the way he just runs past people, the way he glides through tacklers. And that's the best word for it. It's like when you watch people that Michael Vick used to make it look that way too, where like he doesn't even look like he's running at full speed.
Yeah.
And he's just circling people. With that, I do want to get into these voicemails, and this can be a little jumping off point here for the last 5-10 minutes of the podcast, where we can answer some.
But before you get into that, I just want you to know you make podcasting look effortless.
Do I really? I feel like it looks.
Can we just have a moment where I said something nice and you accepted it?
Say it again.
On?
Say it again, and I will accept it.
Hey Eric, before
what's
you
up,
move on,
Lucas?
Let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Hey Eric.
What is it, Lucas?
Before you move on to your next segment, I just want you to know you make podcasting look effortless.
Playoffs?
You have a soundboard?
I had that ready to
distracted. Now I want to know what are the other sounds that you have.
Playoffs?
Every show I have one little thing that I queue up, and playoffs was mine.
That's
for
the
this
best. I forget that coach's name, but he was on the Colts. Jim Mora. My God, one of the great press conference meltdowns of all time.
He's got so many. He's got a couple. Dennis Green had some great ones too.
What is his? He was like, "It's the same team we ever been."
You want to crown him? You crown their ass. He had a good one. The Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State. He's the one that was like, "You talk to me. Yeah. I'm a man. I'm 40." I'm 40 is a great one. That will eventually, if this podcast goes 4 years and I turn 40 on this podcast, that'll be.
I love it
for a day.
I love it.
Mike Singletary had a good one when he benched Vernon Davis.
Okay,
this was the 49ers.
Sure, of course.
When he was like, "Can't play with players who don't want to play. Can't do it. Can't do it." That was a good one.
I mean, those are. Oh, I love it.
I'd rather play with 10 guys. Get a penalty every time. Do we got to do something else? Can't do it. He's got a great one.
That's amazing.
No, I love watching people because it's like, here's the thing, like you need anger in football. We've seen Heat. We ever watch Heat together?
Wait, the Robert De Niro Al Pacino movie?
Yeah. There's a line in there. There's a line in there where.
I'm pretty sure I showed you that movie.
Showed me that. It's a pretty famous. I don't think you showed it to me.
When did you see that movie for the first time?
Cradled in your arms as you stroked my head saying this is a great movie.
That's right.
It's a movie. You might have introduced me to the movie.
Well, that's what I mean.
You made it sound like I wouldn't have known about Heat.
No. I'm saying I think that not only have I seen Heat, I think we've watched the movie together.
We have watched it together, but I'm actually now remembering that I did watch it in college. And I didn't know you in college. Sure. But there's a line in Heat where he's talking with his wife. I can't do a Pacino, but he's like, you want me to tell you about a baby in a microwave, huh? You know what I do with my angst? I keep it right here. I need it. Keeps me sharp. Keeps me sharp right here. That's what football is.
Wait, I agree. It's so funny. You're talking about football with Al Pacino, and you're not using Any Given Sunday. You're using Heat, which is fine. But the best line in Heat with Al Pacino, I just love doing it, is when he's talking to.
I know it.
Yeah, when he goes,
Hank Azaria.
She's got a great ass.
Great ass. What's great about it is it looks like he was going to say big, and then he changes his mind.
He absolutely did that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I like a great ass.
He is so unhinged in that movie.
Something about when I think of a woman's ass, I just lose something. You can be working with Sergeant Slaughter over here. Whatever the Sergeant Slaughter, that's not him. The Heat's so great because it's just like Al Pacino's they're just like, do whatever.
Yeah.
It's like this, it feels like the direction that Jim Carrey got in Pet Detective.
Okay.
Where like every time he goes, was that too much? The director's like, more.
Yeah.
More. Just
Tom
keep going.
Shadyac was the director of that.
I would not have known that, but whoever he was, I guess he was Tom Shadyac. All right, look, let's get into these voicemails, and we're not going to do the. Oh, I forgot I still had that music playing.
Oh,
hang on, let me just X out of that. I have a real intro for the.
Oh, do you?
Voice. Yeah. Bring in the backups voicemail. Who is this?
Okay.
I talked over my own intro.
It.
All right, let's get to our first voicemail here.
I'm excited for this. These are actual people who've actually called your podcast and left an actual voicemail. This is not a bit. These are not characters you're doing. These are actual people.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Listen to it right now.
Okay.
That was a joke about not liking me. Hi, I'm Brandy. I have a virtual. I provide virtual how-to suggestions on Instagram Live and Instagram, and I have a. I'd like to record an episode about me telling people what to do with leftover sauces in their fridge. Those small containers of sauces that you get from takeout or delivery. I have about 70 small containers of hot sauce and soy sauce and dressings, and I want to help people know how to do with them. If you could tell me, then I can record it. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, well, Brandy, thanks for calling into the show. I record my podcast with a Rodecaster Pro, so highly recommend that for recording your podcast. And other than that, getting people sauces. You want to make sure you keep those organized. I respect that work, so wish you the best of luck. And thanks for being a fan. You want to go to the next call?
I think that Brandy is. Does she want to do? She wants to do a podcast about helping people figure out what to do with their leftover sauces, or does she herself have a surefire recipe for how to use leftover sauce? Like, what is it that her ask was?
I think she wants to record an episode
of this podcast.
No, on Instagram Live, she wants to record an episode.
Okay.
Telling people what to do with their leftover sauces.
Why doesn't she just do that? Why is she calling your podcast to ask? She wants advice?
I think she just wants advice on making an episode about sauces.
Here's the absolute best advice anyone will ever give you, and this is not a joke. Make it.
That's great.
Just go make that. Go make it.
Brandy, do you hear that? That's straight from Lucas Hazlett. That's for Brandy. Yeah. She gave me her last name here. It's Brandy Schmieder actually left us that message.
Don't we know a Schmieder?
You're going to remember who that is in 5 seconds after we stop recording. So let's go to...
we know Brandy Schmieder or we know a Schmieder? I'm shocked.
It's all right.
Do we know Brandy Schmieder?
Let's go to the second voicemail.
Oh my God, this is a bit.
We'll talk a little bit later. These are not bits.
Oh, okay. So Brandy Schmieder, who we know, called in.
Brandy Schmieder is a real person. Let's get to our second voicemail.
Hello, Mr. Hellwig. This is your buddy, Matt Freed. I am leaving a message to ask you about Indianapolis Colts quarterback Carson Wentz. Seems like that when the Philadelphia Eagles, our Philadelphia Eagles, traded up to go get Wentz, it was a bit of a gamble, but it paid off in 2017 with a Super Bowl title. Of course, in the intervening years since, seems like he's kind of fallen off of the cliff. I think he's toasted, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. On the podcast, keep it going, bro. Love you. Bye.
Thank you, Matt, for calling in. Yeah, I do think Wentz is fucking dunzo
From whence he came, may he return.
Does that mean he goes back to fucking North Dakota or wherever he's from? Fuck Carson Wentz.
Damn.
Okay. As a person, not as the player.
Hold on. Ready? Hold on. Pack the car, son, and go from whence you came.
What more do you need to know? Get rid of Wentz, bring in Foles into Indianapolis. Let Foles be your bridge quarterback and draft somebody.
There it is.
Boom. Frank Reich.
Before.
And Frank Reich, who's probably listening to the podcast, I'm sure.
I hope he is.
He better be. He worked with Carson Wentz during the Eagles Super Bowl run.
Frank Reich did or Nick Foles?
Frank Reich
You're
worked
kidding.
with Nick Foles. No.
That's
magic. Let's
that
do
is
it.
Magic.
Go get Nick.
Go get Nick and go get Frank and let him work his Third Reich magic.
Third Reich's a charm. All right, let's go to our next message here. These are real.
And we know Brandy Schmieder.
Hey, it's Manny from Cerritos.
This is not a real
So
person.
what's up with this whole bringing the backups nonsense? What about bringing the tight ends or bringing the long receivers?
Okay, Manny, thanks for the call.
It's not a real person.
It's a real person. Manny, I thought about including other position players in bringing the backups or even different sports, but I just went with quarterbacks. You were the one that told me, I think early on, that I should have different sports. You don't remember that conversation.
I don't remember that conversation. I just said that because there's a finite number of backup quarterbacks that, I mean, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that this will go on for at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
I'm saying at some point you want to freshen, want to make it fresh because other sports have
Different
backups. But I think that's actually a very valid point of like, there are backups to the starting wide receiver. There's a backup to the starting tight end. Your podcast is not called Bring in the Quarter Backups. It's just bring in the backups, the backup punter, the backup kicker.
You're not wrong about that. Sounds like you agree with Manny.
I agree that it's something you should consider. I don't necessarily know if that's a direction you should change right now.
Let's make sure I don't quit comedy in the next 4 months. And if this podcast is still happening, I start to run out of quarterbacks.
Sure.
It's always an option.
Throw it in.
All right. Our next caller, here we go.
Hey, man. First time, long time. Just want to get your opinion on this Super Bowl. What do you think the matchup's going to be? Who do you think's going to win? I'll hang up and listen.
All right. Didn't leave their name, so I don't know who that was. But Super Bowl matchup.
Man,
I got mine.
You go first because I don't really.
Packers Chiefs.
Yo, the State Farm Bowl.
Yes.
This is what it should have been last year.
Yes.
I wanted a State Farm Bowl. I thought the NFL was trying to make a State Farm Bowl.
Look, if it's Rodgers, Mahomes, that is
ratings bonanza.
That's like new Rodgers versus old Rodgers. I've always said Patrick Mahomes is like what Aaron Rodgers was when he was early in his career,
absolutely.
and maybe even better.
Yeah.
So I would love to see those guys in this. I'm hoping for that.
Mahomes Brady Part 2 would not be bad. I mean, Brady. Everyone thought that that the Chiefs were going to just trounce the Buccaneers last year, but the Buccaneers defense showed up and just fucking gave him the business. But yeah, I think a State Farm Bowl would be dope. I think it would be, if anyone that remembers the 90s will remember that Chris Berman always gave his prediction for who would be in the Super Bowl, and for like 5 straight years said Niners Bills. It would be nice if there was a Niners Bills once before Chris Berman shuffles off the mortal coil. But I don't see that happening, but the Bills look good. I see maybe a Bills Chiefs
AFC playoffs game. Yeah.
That would be dope.
I would be happy if the Bengals did anything. I
think the Bengals have done what they've done. And that's okay.
Who are they playing? Do they play we'll find out.
We find out after.
No.
We know.
We already know.
They play the Titans. Aren't the Bengals the lowest seed?
Hang on. I got it right here. No, I don't.
I think
they play the Titans. They can fucking beat the Titans.
They could beat the Titans. The Titans slid in.
Yesterday I was trying to remember the playoff teams in the AFC, and I forgot the Titans are the fucking
absolutely.
1 seed.
That's their. You're right. You know what? I think the Bengals might make it to the fucking AFC. That wouldn't be.
That would be the.
Oh, so this is.
It's
so
already
Chiefs Bills is already happening.
Right, we were both wrong.
Oh, That game is going to be spectacular.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God!
And I'll easily take the Bengals over the Titans. Who you got to beat? You got to beat Ryan Tannehill, their third string running back.
They still got that big.
He's not in the. He's out. Derrick Henry's out. I think
Bengals.
Nobody fact check me on that.
Don't fact check. I like hearing that because I think I'm going to root for the Bengals. I love a great underdog story. Bengals, Chiefs. I think is your AFC playoff game.
Playoff
championship.
Game. Absolutely. Okay, let's go to our next one here. Who do we got? Like I said, we had 6 calls. It's just nice. That was an
actually good call, and that seemed real.
These are all real calls. I don't know why you keep saying they're
shocking.
not real
It's
calls.
shocking.
I have fans.
Hey, this is Sandy from Greece. Quick question. Why is it called a quarterback? Why isn't it a dime back or a nickel back?
All right.
Sandy
from Greece calling in.
God.
Thanks for the call, Sandy. I don't know why that's a stupid question.
It's not a stupid question.
Why is it called a quarterback?
Well, there's a quarterback, a halfback, and then the running back. The quarterback is 1 quarter removed from the 4 people. Your center, your quarterback, the halfback, and the fullback.
Oh my God. Do you want to just come co-host the podcast? How the fuck did you know that?
It's knowledge. Also, she's wrong. There are nickels and dime packages in the.
Yeah, but they're not players that are a
That's true.
nickelback
Well,
or a.
technically speaking, they are. That the linebacker that's floating in the nickel package technically is the nickel linebacker.
Can we pause for this for a second and talk about the hate that Nickelback gets? I don't really get it.
You're not gonna. Nope. Not with me.
It's just generic rock.
Listen,
Is that different from like Journey or Cold? Like, fuck.
Were you
who's
gonna say Coldplay?
No. Well, honestly, yes.
Coldplay is way better than Nickelback.
But okay, not Coldplay's not a good example. I was
and
trying
Journey has. What's the Eyes Wide Open? Is that their big, or is that the other band? What was Nickel? No, what was
Journey's
Nickelback?
Don't Stop Believing.
No, not them. That's Journey. What's Nickelback's big hit?
Never made it as a wise man.
That compares to Journey.
Couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing.
Ugh, who sings?
It's just music.
That's Creed. Nickelback's music is. I agree with you in that they are no worse than any other bad corporate rock band where it's like, oh, you're playing 3 chords. It's. Ugh.
But here's the thing: they're not like a boy band. They weren't put together.
That's true.
By some like that is their artistic ability,
Okay.
and somebody went, yeah, that won't ever hurt us, and then they made them big, and that's fine. Like to me, I'm like, if people like it, there's a merit to it in some way. Like I don't have to hate on Nickelback.
I love this that you've just said because I've come around instantly because I try very hard in the comedy space to not hate on successful comics who I find unfunny.
Yeah.
I hate the audiences who like them because if the
You really went a different way there. I thought that was
did.
a way meaner ending.
I know, exactly. And it gives me more people to hate. I say anybody who wants to do their art, their music, their comedy, whatever, that is beautiful. You're an artist. This is how you feel. Great. And the audience should hear your art and go, ugh. And you just do your art for your sake. And the audience punishes you by not liking it. But when the audience loves what you do, and then corporations go, let's have Nickelback do the song from Spider-Man 2 or whatever it was. That's when I go, too much. Yeah. This is why people hate them, because they're not awful. They're just bland. They make bland, inoffensive music that, anything that Fox would feel comfortable playing as a musical interlude between, Hannity and Tucker. That's the kind of music they play.
Oh my God.
Well, that's who they are.
Listen,
it's that kind of banal.
You use your hate like Pacino uses his anger.
That is the nicest thing anyone has ever said.
You should give the keep it right here.
That's not what you said.
Keeps me sharp.
My hate does keep me sharp, but I'm also not a cop who experiences babies in microwaves. So my hate is really low-level hatred.
Yeah.
I just hate things that aren't good. Mm-hmm. And I hate when people like things that aren't good.
You're getting mad at me for defending Jimmy G in text the other day. It's like, well, Jesus Christ, you just won a playoff game. Can I get a second?
We didn't win a playoff game.
Can I get a second?
Didn't lose.
All right. Well, we're getting into semantics here.
Semantics change.
We have two.
I hate when people say that.
We have two more. We
Okay.
have two more here.
Two more definitely real wink.
These
wink
are all.
phone
These
calls.
are all real. There's no wink.
Okay.
I don't know why you keep saying that.
Hey, you got to take the car into Jiffy Lube. Okay, love you. Bye.
So that was your wife.
That was So Liz, I think Liz has entered the Bringing the Backups hotline number for my number, and she's leaving me. Just 2 weeks in a row, she's left me a chore to do. So I will get that cleaned up. Sorry about that, guys. That was not a proper call. But
let's talk about it. Why don't you get the car changed? Did you?
I did take the car to Jiffy Lube.
Good.
Yeah.
And you got it changed?
I just got the fluids or whatever, and
I don't drive, so
they were like, "You got to get this windshield fixed," and I was like, just peeled out. Yeah, the windshield. If it collapses, it collapses. This is going to be our last call for the day.
Okay.
Another real one. So, don't give me shit.
I won't give you any shit for this.
Eric, it's me, Vin Diesel. How are you? I got a question for
None
you,
of these have
man.
been real, have they?
Let's say a wide receiver.
Don't talk over Vin.
10-second car. And you could only pick one to race. What wide receiver would you say is your 10-second car? Me personally, I like Cooper's Cubs. Because he's my favorite team of the Los Angeles Rams. And I only take my life 10 seconds at a time. One last thing. I never knocked on nobody! Have a great day. Love the show.
Thanks for calling in, Vin. Appreciate it. Vin's been on the show twice now. He called in the first season. I don't know what to say. People like the show. Who's your best receiver? Who's the best receiver in the league?
Is that what the question was? A 10-second car versus a receiver in a race?
Answer Vin's question.
What's the actual question from Vin Diesel? Who didn't once mention family, by the way, which it seems to be his calling card.
I got to talk to Vin next time.
Call Vin up and be like, Vin, you're blowing it. You didn't even say the key word that people are waiting for you to say. Family.
I'll knock on nobody.
What is that? Is that from one of the movies?
I don't know.
Dude, I can't with those movies. First of all, that's the only series in the history of films where, like, 1 is decent, 2 sucks, 3 is a different movie altogether, 4's garbage, 5's whatever, then 6 is amazing, 7's even better, and then 8 you're like, okay, 9 you're like, this needs to stop, and then you're like, this has gone too far. Are they in space yet? Are they actually racing rockets
you
in
say
space?
You can't with them anymore, but you sound like you've seen all the movies. I've seen 0
I'm not
Fast
gonna
and
lie.
Furious movies.
I have seen more of them than I've seen the Harry Potter movies. Let's put it that way.
Okay. That's not true, though.
That is true.
We watched all the Harry Potter movies in one.
No, we did not.
Are you
I have never seen Goblet of Fire, and I've never seen. I think that's the only one I've never
Lucas.
seen. We did not do
Lucas.
that. We did not do that.
Do you remember when we did it?
No, because we didn't do that.
Oh my God! There was a hurricane in New York City.
Okay.
We were at the pit, and we literally put on from beginning to end every single Harry Potter
Well, then
movie
I fell
and watched.
asleep.
You must have.
Because I didn't. I don't remember that. I remember during that period of time, I believe we watched The Dark Knight.
We did watch that.
I
We
remember
watched
that.
Louis.
We watched Louis. I remember that.
Joan Rivers episode.
Now I remember. I don't remember.
We watched
watching all
every
of
single.
the-
I don't know how you don't remember
I honestly don't remember.
9 hours of Harry Potter we watched.
I don't remember. Also, had the final movie come out by that point?
No, I remember we watched part 1. Or I think it did, but we watched part 1, and then it was over, and we went to somebody's apartment and watched part 2.
All right, let me put it this way.
I think it was Massimo.
I don't remember that at all. Let me rephrase what I said then to just be more clear. I've seen more Fast and the Furious movies in the movie theater than I've seen of the Harry Potter series.
We didn't answer Vin's question. He wanted to know.
I don't even know what the fucking
The question was it's a pretty clear question. He's saying if you can pick one race car receiver, what would you say your 10-second car receiver is?
What does that mean? Is he just asking who I think is the fastest receiver in the game?
He likes Cooper's Cups. Just give me one receiver that you like in the league.
I think that I'll give you the receiver, but I'll play along with his language. I think Cooper Cup is a good car if you're looking for something that can go long distance and make the play, right? But I need a an all-terrain utility vehicle that can get through up, down, left, right, and always finds the right path. Debo fucking Samuel.
I was about to say that. I was literally going to say the same thing. That dude was on my fantasy team, and I'd be like, wait, he had 80 yards rushing? He just does everything.
So good.
I feel like if they put him at quarterback, they'd be just as good as they are now.
In the game against the Rams, he threw a fucking touchdown when Jimmy didn't.
Dude, he's an incredible player. He
so good.
Went to South Carolina.
Okay.
I'm a big Gamecocks fan, so that also makes me like him. You kind of stole mine, but since you said Debo, I'll pick somebody else. I like Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. You know him?
I don't really know him that
He's
well.
pretty.
I don't know the smaller market teams that well because
who gives a fuck?
Well, it's not so much who gives a fuck, but like throughout the season, I watch Red Zone.
Yeah.
And so you really only get to watch teams that are good because they're constantly in the red zone.
I was watching Red Zone, and I'm like, man, they spend a lot of time on the Bills, get a lot of Bills highlights.
Yeah.
And you don't see they really focus in on like 3 games. And it's like, I don't know. I love small market team. I mean, the NFL, everything's so corporate. It's like nothing's really a small market team.
But wait a second. It's not about whether the market is. They're not focusing on the Bills because somehow Buffalo is a large market. It's because Buffalo's always in the red zone. They're always making. No, I'm dead serious.
No, but dude,
they're such an offensive juggernaut.
I'm telling you, man. They also have to sometimes 2 teams are in the red zone at the same time, and they have to make a choice.
They double box it. That's his thing. He goes, we now go to the double box. And sometimes they go the octobox.
I must have not been watching Red Zone. I think I was watching Game Day.
You're probably watching Game Day.
I'm watching Game Day.
Red Zone is that white guy who sits at a desk, and he's literally, you're just looking at 8 games, and he's sending you to every different game when there's something going on in that game.
I gotta get. Maybe I don't have Red Zone then.
It's an additional.
I don't have Red Zone.
Yeah,
I was confusing it with Game Day. Man, do I run a fucking football podcast? All right, look,
just let everybody, before we move on, let the record show a cocksucker like me, a homosexual faggot cocksucker, knows more about the game of football and how to watch it than your distinguished, esteemed host. And this is coming from years of him challenging my knowledge on sports.
Bring in the backups voicemail. Who is this? All right, well, that's the...
What an amazing end to a segment. I love that button, actually.
It's pretty fun.
That's pretty funny.
Playoffs.
The best part of the podcast so far has been pressing little buttons.
But it's the best part of radio is the buttons.
I do like the buttons a lot.
I mean, we live in a culture now. What we call them are memes that get passed around on TikTok. That's just button culture. It's just Insta button of like. There's that. Have you heard that song on TikTok where someone made a song out of all the basically those funny memes where it's like the whole gimmick is how long can you listen to the song without laughing?
Okay.
Have you heard that?
No.
You should. We could do that off air, but you should watch that because it's just the same song over and over. It's hilarious, but it plays like little button things of like our table and just like little things like that where you're just like, oh my God, this is Insta button culture.
Memes are so funny.
They're so funny.
And like we've my new job, I work this sales job that's remote, so we're just G-chatting all day, Slack, whatever. So it's nothing but memes.
Yeah.
Like there's people get a sale and you're like, what funny meme can I post to try to make people giggle and get like a ha-ha or an LOL? But it's fucking hilarious. And like I had really never done that. Like I didn't send them in my phone. I had to have somebody show me how to find them in my phone.
Sure.
Very recently. Yeah.
There you go.
The little button. It was like it's kind of hidden though. You have to like click over one.
Once you know where it is, it just becomes like, oh, this is just for between us to talk about how phones affect you.
Yeah.
Put up your hand. Bring your thumb to the other side of your like that.
All right.
Now do it with your other hand. Okay. So you see that?
Yeah.
Now watch my left hand, which is the hand that uses my phone.
Oh, look at that.
This is an it's an involuntary, it's all warped because I'm always on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
To anybody who this is not a video podcast, so just so people could know what Lucas was doing. He was giving the white power OK symbol there.
Yeah,
that's the hand. That's the shape his hand takes.
It was all a ruse to just really show Eric that I too am with him. We're going to Fox News together, and then after that, we're going to Newsmax.
Oh my God!
First, what is it? One Nation, First Republic. What's the fucking the worst?
On
One
Fox
America?
News?
No, the worst network.
Oh, it's I always forget. It's like OAN.
OAN. One America News.
I only know it because the guy Mike Gundy that I referenced before got in trouble for wearing an OAN shirt.
Oh no. That's the coach from.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm 40.
Don't make fun of my kids. Make fun of me.
OSU had a great year this year, by the
way. They didn't make it to the national championship.
They didn't. Well, they lost. They lost to Baylor. Baylor's a good team.
Baylor. Well, Baylor came out of nowhere last year in basketball. My goodness, those boys whooped on Gonzaga.
I feel like isn't Baylor where they had the
Waco?
Yeah.
Yep.
Did that affect their recruiting?
No, because I don't think that any of the players had anything to do with white ass David Koresh Waco.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like being known for that. You don't think that affects people wanting to come there?
Do you want my actual theory as to why they were so good last year?
Why?
I think that now this could be off base. I don't think it is, but I think that the pandemic forced a lot of kids that would have gone elsewhere to stay in Texas. And so you had homegrown big Texas boys, because that Baylor team was big. Those looked like football dudes playing basketball, and they just outmanned Gonzaga. Gonzaga's so pretty. They had that one guy, and he was like cute.
Oh, the guy with the
light-skinned black guy or whatever is that?
I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name either, but he's a good player. He's a great player. He's a great player, actually. He's in the NBA now. He's on the Magic, I think. But like that sweetness had nothing on that just dark chocolate. Just like they was just dunking, and it was like the end of Hoosiers if the end of Hoosiers was real. That's what it felt like.
I've tried to watch Hoosiers. I think it's like one of the most boring movies.
So boring.
It's not. And like they're like, oh, have you seen the Nets scene? The scene with the Nets where he measures the
garbage.
And I'm like,
now look here, it's 10 feet for us. It's 10 feet for them. Yeah, and but coach, they be jumping 13 feet.
Listen, there's something to be said for like an understated speech that is motivating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
sure.
Like I watched Rudy with Liz, and we went on the podcast. She trashed the movie. She hated it, but
she didn't hate on Charles S. Dutton though.
Is that the black guy?
Do you have a button for a screech in a car crash?
Playoffs.
Is he the black guy?
Yes, Charles S. Dutton.
I don't fucking know who Charles S. Dutton is. Is he in other stuff that I would know?
Alien 3.
I've never seen Alien 3.
Rock. Not The Rock, but the show Rock on Fox.
Are you going to name anything that's well-known in culture? No, I've not heard of the show Rock. Alien 3
He was in Oz, the prison show Oz.
I got through 2 episodes of Oz. I know you wanted me to watch it.
I got to be honest with you. Charles S. Dutton did not break out into movies the same way that I think he should.
I mean, I'll say this: if I saw him in something else, I would go, "That's the guy from Rudy."
Yes,
I think that's clearly his biggest thing. I mean, it's a huge movie.
I think Rudy is probably his most famous, mainstream work.
The point of what I was saying was, Liz did not hate on Charles S. Dutton.
Good.
But she hated on the entire movie.
Fine.
But I loved the speech in Rudy.
Whose speech?
The coach before the game where he's like, "This is our house.
Oh, sure.
No one comes in our house, pushes us around. All right, let's get out there." That's great. To me, it's a great speech.
Also, your Notre Dame at the time when Notre Dame was demolishing schools.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't even need a speech. Like, you really do just need to be like, guys, we're Notre Dame. Like, you know what we do.
Yeah.
Do you think
game starts in 5 minutes? Let's go.
Yeah. Do you think Nick Saban gives big speeches some games, or do you think he just goes, "All right, guys, we have a game today. See you on the field"? Like,
no. Have you ever watched like I've talked about this a shit ton on the podcast, but when you watch like college football from shitty conferences, it's the best because they're trying everything to get people pumped up.
Sure.
The coach is like, "I want you to fucking kill someone." Like if you're talking like Conference USA, University of Louisiana Monroe versus Coastal Carolina.
Ooh.
And both teams are 4-7. Those are great.
Sure.
Those are great halftime speeches.
Sure. Okay.
Like they do crazy shit. Like literally Coastal Carolina, they jump through tables like it's wrestling and they do like moves on each other. I'm not even fucking around.
Why would they do that?
Because you have to do something to make people want to not go to any other school.
Oh, I see.
I mean, if you're competing with like, I don't know, whatever the other big state schools are where you are. If you're in Louisiana, where are the athletes going?
Sure.
LSU.
Sure.
Yeah. What was the other? I don't even what the other example I used was Coastal Carolina. Since South Carolina, so like Clemson.
Sure.
USC.
Clemson's a weird one because some years they're right there, and then other years they're not even ranked.
Well, this year they were bad, but they've been good. They've been good before that.
It's just funny how in college football sometimes there's like a weird series of years where you're like Georgia is good.
Georgia's good
now. They've been, but like remember when we were growing up, Nebraska used to just dominate everybody, and now it's like, well, no one's even seen a Nebraska game in years.
No. Yeah, teams fall off. Miami. Remember Miami?
Same thing. Miami and FSU used to just steamroll teams. USC. Now they're kind of like a joke.
FSU lost to Jacksonville State, which is like not even like that's not even like a D1 school. It's like a D1 AA school. They lost on a Hail Mary, and it was like Jacksonville, even like they spelled it like Jax, the letter N-ville. Like it's like sometimes college teams, they do something and they become like people are talking about this team now. But it's like the people that run the team weren't ready for it.
Sure.
Like they don't even have like a logo. Ugh. It's like the Water Boy where they just have the brown helmet. There's an element to like the amateurness of college football that I really like because you can see you go on their Twitter and like Eastern Michigan has like 1,500 people following their football Twitter, and then Alabama has 10 million, whatever.
Sure, I wouldn't go that far, but
something.
It's high.
It's got some crazy. Your energy has dropped. It looks like we got to wrap this
show
up.
My energy hasn't dropped. I'm getting, whenever I sit too long without my booze, that's what's happening, as I'm itching for a little spritz.
I feel you. So
also edit that out.
What?
That my energy's low. You don't want to put that in.
Your energy's low?
Edit it out that you're saying, well, you look like your energy's low.
No, this is people love this.
They want some behind the scenes thing. I'm not even wearing any pants.
We have one more message from Vin Diesel before we get out.
We got another message?
No, not really.
Good Lord.
Lucas, tell people where they can find you. Plug anything you've got going on.
Christ. Look. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Lucas Zachary Hazlett. Nobody follows me. I deleted all my posts recently.
Wait a second. The last time I was on, you were here. Feel like I was telling you to get an Instagram, and then you started posting stuff.
I started posting music, but then my laptop got stolen and all it's gone. So I just was like, look, I'm not where I hate when you go on other people's Instagrams and you see that they post a video of them doing something stupid and it's got 80,000 views and likes or whatever, and their viewers, they're following. Nothing I do hits. So I'm just not even concerned with my followers anymore. It doesn't mean anything. I'll be concerned about my followers if I sell a show and the show gets on and I'm still a loser on Instagram. Then I'll like, oh, people hate you. But now it's like, I don't have anything to offer anybody right now.
Yeah.
So fuck my social media. Fuck it.
So say just like email you or something if they like you?
First of all, if you like me, just follow me on Instagram.
After you say you don't give a shit about it.
I don't give a shit about it, but it's nice to get followed and have someone say, yeah, that guy's fun. I'll say this, if you don't like me,
okay,
I'm begging you, DM me. All the hate.
Who would listen to what's now an hour and 40-minute podcast not liking you?
I think
who has gotten to this point of the podcast?
I don't think anyone has gotten to this point in the podcast because I think they don't like me, and so they won't listen. What have I've done nothing but ramble.
I mean, we've got six people who left messages for the show, so there are some people.
Right now, 6 people have left messages.
But I'm saying that we've listened to on the show.
4 of those were your friends.
They were all real, dude.
4 of
they
those
were all
your friends.
real.
One was your wife. And one wasn't even about football. It was about sauce packet redistribution.
Lucas, thank you for coming
Always
on the
pleasure.
show. Great having you, buddy. Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to support us for free, there are many ways to do it. Start by subscribing on whatever platform you're currently listening on. If you're on Apple Podcasts, write a 5-star review. And if you're on YouTube, like the video and leave a comment. On ErickHellwig.com, you can subscribe to the newsletter and click the track button to follow Erick's stand-up dates and never miss a show when he's in town. To support the podcast financially, visit the merch store via Erick's website. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you on the next show.